What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the first fun team that I decided to run in the season of Adventures Abound, or whatever we want to call it. So, Mantine, Aerial Ace buffed, Sandslash, and Diggersby, Scorching Sands added to their move pool. And I'm going to be honest, I love running Kanto Sandslash. It's just so much fun, and Scorching Sands is a really awesome move to see added to its move pool. So let's jump into the battles here. This is a pretty standard ABB line where you just have a water type, your Mantine in the front, and we get absolutely hard countered in this game. Now, I took it out of order a little bit here because I wanted to show this game off first, because there's always people that are like, oh, I've been hard countered in the lead, hard countered in the switch. Games are winnable. You just have to play them out and don't give up. Look, I've been hard countered just now. Bastiodon, my energy from Mantine goes nowhere. And the Diggersby is being hit with a power-up punch Medicham. I'm not getting to more than 2 charge moves here. And unfortunately, the Scorching Sands isn't even going to KO. So my opponent, if they're smart, they may not even shield this. And that's a problem. So I'm going to do as much fast move damage as I can. I'm running the quick attack Diggersby on the save swap here to try and lure out flyers, things like that. If I get an Altari, I'm screwed. But at this point, I was really hoping I could try and flip switch, and I couldn't. So Mantine's going to come in, is going to get the farm down from the Medi, which is going to go nowhere. So I have to hope that my Sandslash can finish this game for me, and they come in with a Sableye. So there's a slight chance here, but this is hard because look at how much damage those Shadow Claws are doing. I'm just going to have to go straight Night Slash. I'm praying for the boost, and you might have seen this battle already. I released a short last night of this battle just because I was playing... I was doing a stream with the patrons. I'm trying to, get ready for streaming publicly, and I just figured, what better way to ring in the new season than to do it with my group. So we just were like, dude, this battle was hype, and one of my guys was like, you got to make a short of this. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. So I'm loading up on a bunch of energy. I just want to put this Sableye in a range where 2 moves would KO, so the Night Slash gets the shield, and now I have a chance. I just have to hope that Bastiodon's Stone Edges, or the Smackdowns, will not do enough damage to KO before I can get to the Scorching Sands. And can I get there with just a fraction of my health bar? I'm able to get there. How much damage does it do to Bastiodon? I don't know. It doesn't one-shot, but it does a lot. What I need the damage from this Ice Beam to do enough. Aerial Ace is double resisted, whereas Ice Beam is only single resisted. Plus, in a vacuum, Ice Beam does do more raw damage, so I'm hoping that this is enough. And Ice Beam just leaves it with a fraction, so they weren't able to get to a charge move, and I'm going to be able to take this one. Thank goodness. Good game. Oh, missed the transition. Man, I'm not prepared. I was so hyped. All right. Next game. So now the games are more in order. This is the first set of battles that I played in the Cup. So we've hit an obstacle lead right away, and I can't switch out of this because Diggersby in the back. Not exactly a good thing that I want to see, but my opponent swaps in a Dragon type. I didn't get to see what kind it was, but I'm going for the Ice Beam, hoping that they think it's an Aerial Ace, and I did not, unfortunately, get it. Now, I think that... I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like I could have stayed in. Mantine is something that I needed to keep healthy for the Obstagoon, because I can't really have Obstagoon against anything else on this team. It's just gonna hurt too much. My opponent shields the Night Slash bait, and so all I need at this point is for the Scorching Sands to hit, and we're gonna see. Dude, that animation for Scorching Sands, dude, is so cool. I look to farm up as much energy as I can here, not because I want more energy, but because I'd rather give the Obstagoon less farm, and I'm able to get to the Scorching Sands. Though I'm double debuffed, this is probably not going to do a lot of damage. But I was hoping for a debuff too. Didn't get that, so Mantine's going to come back in, energy dry, but able to easily soak some damage here. Mantine is extremely bulky, and I feel like it's one of the biggest winners of this meta update. It's just so good. My opponent comes in with a Typhlosion and shields down with Ember. They're not getting to the Blast Burn. I don't think a Blast Burn would have KO'd my Diggersby from that range, but that's okay because we're going to take out the Typhlosion, and my opponent decides that enough's enough, and they're just going to let it go. So, good game to my opponent. Get a Jolteon. I was like, I saw this and I'm like, are you kidding me? So they stay in. This is, I mean, clearly, what do you're going to get from these rank 1 battles? You're going to get players that are running anything and everything that they have. You're not always going to hit a meta team. I don't think, there's no way that this is counter. I don't see it. I don't think this is counter, but I don't know what other moves Scrafty has. In fact, I'm pretty sure, well, I can actually check. I have PV poke up right now on my screen. Scrafty has Counter and Snarl. So that has to be Counter, right? I can't imagine, but then my opponent undercharges the move. I don't know what's going on here, but the point of the matter here is that even if I were to lose Switch, right, I drew out the Pokemon that would typically not want to see, or my Sandslash wouldn't want to see, right? Scrafty's a very difficult Pokemon to overcome with Sandslash. So I'm able to take Switch and Shields here, and I'm able to get to Scorching Sands because Jolteon's not going to be able to take out my Diggersby. And again, you all know how rank 1 is. You know, I have respect for my opponents running the Spice, but this team just out-bulks, out-damages, and unfortunately for that Scrafty, just not going to be able to do it. So I'm going to be able to get to this Ice Beam in time before the Celebi even gets to a charge move, and that is going to be a good game. Well played, taking out the Celebi. Getting into the next game here, and I did see a fair share of meta teams as well, right? So it's not like I've been seeing nothing but nonsense all day. You know, that is the only Jolteon I saw. So we're going to go for this Ice Beam right here. I'm just going to go for it, right? There's no point not to. The opponent maybe thinks I'm running Aerial Ace Bubble Beam, so we land it, and they did not respect the Ice Beam. Apparently, there's not a lot of them respecting Ice Beam, but there's a G-Fisk in the back, and I have to go into my Diggersby now. As an ABB team, I have to try and draw out any potential counter of the ground type that my opponent may have in the back. So my opponent's running Flash Cannon. Okay, so maybe they wanted to really, you know, stick it to the Carbink, but I think you still want to go run Earthquake in this situation. So, but again, I respect the trainers that want to run the spicy movesets, the spicy Pokemon. I love it. You know, me running a Kanto Sandslash, I would consider that pretty darn spicy. Mantine and Diggersby aren't, like, top meta by any means. I don't think they even are now. But the opponent's got a Registeel, so they're playing Altaria Double Steel. So once the Altaria is out of the way, they were basically SOL. This entire backline just destroys their Steel type. So going to come in with my Sandslash. I respect my opponent in this situation because they haven't top lefted yet. I've seen a lot of people just top left so early. It's like, no, man, you got to try. You got to play it out. You never know what's going to happen. But I'm going to go for the Scorching Sands here. There's no need for me to bait. I'm a shield up, and the opponent is not going to be able to outpace me to another move here. So going to get to the Scorching Sands before they can get to another charge move. Going to be able to take out the Registeel, and essentially I'm just going to be able to farm down the G-Fisk. But my opponent looks to have quit the match, so my respect for them is slightly rescinded because, you know, if you're gonna do that, just top left, dude. Don't shut the app, and because I was high tempted to just sit here and wait for them to come back, like leave the G-Fisk with like 1 HP so that they would open the app up and come back into the game. I was tempted to, but I'm like, I don't want to waste my own time. So just top left, man. There's no need to do that. So Poliwrath, we get a really nice lead here. If I'm going to see a Poliwrath, this is where I need to see it. Going to go for a little more energy here. I wanted to see if I could maybe get my opponent on a CMP tie or something, which I did. I was kind of hoping to farm up past an Ice Punch, which is what I was expecting them to go for. But they go for a Power Up Punch. I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace. And Aerial Ace now, 5 less energy to use it. And I should have come in with the Sandslash, but I was like, man, I got to save it just in case they're trying to bait out some ground type I have. So, yeah, but man, that farm down would have been satisfying. So I go for the Fire Punch bait here. I really don't know what to expect. I mean, it's Togedemaru. I'm hoping that I just go for another Fire Punch here, and then I take it out. And then my opponent does have to come back in with the Poliwrath, but they will actually shield this up, and then they're going to go for a Wild Charge. Now, I think that the Gyro Ball was definitely the play there. Now I can just farm all the way down here, and my Diggersby can land a Scorching Sands against the Poliwrath, probably get another shield off my opponent because of how low their Poliwrath got from the Aerial Aces, goodness, how low they got from the wing attacks in the Aerial Ace. There we go. But Scorching Sands just takes them out, and there's a Whimsicott, and that is somewhat of a core breaker, but thankfully I'm able to get to this Fire Punch because they're running Fairy Wind. I'm going to come in with my Mantine right away, go for the Aerial Ace, because all I need here is for the Mantine to be able to outbulk and take out this Whimsicott. My opponent knows what's going to happen, and they go ahead and concede the game. So we got a core breaker in the next game, and that is just, this is bad news, but it's running. Goodness, they swap out because they're running Water Gun rather than Rock Throw, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and try and either get a shield or chip this Grand Bull. The opponent decides not to shield, so I'm going to try and farm all the way down and shield if they get to the close combat, which they don't. And this energy is what's going to be able to make this a winnable match. Now, they come in with an Unfezant, so another person running some absolute Spice Lord picks, which I respect, and they shield a Fire Punch, which, I mean, honestly, at that energy, they may have expected it to be a Hyper Beam, so that was still a good shield. And this is not a bad swap, and unfortunately, Unfezant just does not have the stats and typing, or even, it's just the stats, really. The typing's fine. But it doesn't really have the typing or the bulk to really stand up to this Diggersby. So I'm going to go straight for Scorching Sands, and at this point, I'm saving 2 shields so that my Sandslash can come in and get the Scorching Sands off against the Caracosta and finish it off. And I swap immediately so my opponent doesn't get the chance to farm down my Diggersby here. And, you know, I'm going to say it, right? Even though players at this low rank are playing Spice, I will treat them with respect when I'm playing them, and I will continue to play to my best because there's no need to even bother. By the way, had to get that in there. There's no need to treat, battle somebody any differently just because they're playing some weird Pokemon that you've never seen before. Because for all you know, maybe they know what they're doing and they're going to beat you with it if you're not paying attention. So, going for Aerial Ace here. Again, this is the move to go for. Mantine is resisting the counters. And again, I cannot swap here because the dark damage from Night Slash, from Sandslash makes that a worse matchup because I can't go for spammy Night Slashes. And because Diggersby's taking super effective damage, there's no benefit for me to bring it in here. Now, one interesting thing about this matchup, though, Mantine, it's close because Obstagoon wins CMP. And if my opponent boosts here, they're at the back-to-back. If the opponent boosts here, that could be a problem. So one is not going to take out, but because not only did they boost, I was going to catch the next one on my Diggersby anyway, but that extra damage does not feel good. Diggersby's going to get a quick attack farm down, but it took a lot of damage to do it. And here comes a Medicham, and I was not expecting that in the back. So my opponent running an ABA counter line, at least. I don't know what their third is yet. Power Up Punch Medicham. My Mantine is in the ground just about. This is not a good time. I'm really hoping that whatever's in the back is weak to ground because this is their best response to my Diggersby. So I'm going to shield this up because I want to get the Medicham down low, and if I can, maybe farm it down with Sandslash. But with that much damage that they've already put out, it's very difficult. They shield back, so this is their first shield. They kind of had to shield that. And I go for the Aerial Ace right away. My opponent reads me like a book and brings in a Golbat. And that, honestly, only because I've already played the game, I can say that absolutely sealed my fate here. If I had stayed and been patient, I could have gone for the Ice Beam, got the shield, could have possibly gotten to another move. Probably not, though. I don't know how much damage that Scorching Sands is going to do, but I'm going for Night Slash because it's neutral. CMP tied the opponent. They're going to get the Poison Fang off, and I'm forced to shield this, unfortunately. So I can only get a farm down and get a move off with Mantine here, but I'm not going to be able to get it, unfortunately. My opponent is going to save the shield for that Medicham, which is way too healthy for me to even consider taking it out. So that is going to be a good game. Unfortunately, going to take a loss here. Can't win them all, right? Some weird teams in these low ranks, and even any rank, honestly. There's just weird teams everywhere. But opponent's going to get the Power Up Punch and KO me, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to my opponent. Getting into the next game here, we're gonna have a Sableye lead, which is okay. I don't mind it. I can safely ABB this, normally. Gonna draw out a Hitmontop with my Diggersby and going to go for the Scorching Sands, which, if you aren't aware, has the possibility of lowering the opponent's attack. It's a Scald clone, and we get the attack drop, and the Hitmontop is using the new move that it gained this season, Triple Axle, which is a Flame Charge Ice-type clone. So it raises the attack one stage of the Pokemon that's using it, but it has the Ice typing. It's a very lackluster move from what I've seen so far on most Pokemon, but I'm able to get a shield here with that Fire Punch, thankfully. Should have probably just gone for the Scorching Sands. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it to 2 moves, but I'm just going to call it and say, you know what, my opponent doesn't have Stone Edge because they will run the Triple Axle for the flying coverage instead of Stone Edge, typically speaking. So, gonna be able to get the farm down. I'm gonna go for an Ice Beam here to get some raw damage off, but my opponent CMP ties me. Very good counting on my opponent's part here. I have to let this go and say I'm just gonna save 2 shields for Sandslash and see if we can make some magic happen. Gonna go for the Ice Beam here to get some damage off on the Sableye, and they take it, so it's now in Night Slash range, and they come in with the G-Fisk, and I am singing the praises of my Sandslash at this point. There's no way that we could possibly lose this game, right? Yep, nope, they're gonna take the Scorching Sands to the face. I'm going to shield up this Earthquake because you know, I got to shield it. There's no reason not to. So we're going to just be able to go for a couple of Night Slashes and take this Sableye out. That's going to be a good game here. Very well played to my opponent. But Sandslash is, like, Sandslash has always been like one of my favorite spice picks in the Great League. Ever since we had the season of Interlude when we had the community day, it's such a fun Pokemon. But speaking of, I guess not really. This is completely unrelated to what I was talking about. But here we have a matchup that is now different than it was before because of the Aerial Ace buff. Now, I threw on 8 here, so I'm not really sure how on earth we managed to CMP. No, actually 6. No, that makes sense. 6 and 8. Yeah, okay. No, 8. 8 times 2 is, yeah, 16. So I don't know how that worked. We got some one-turn lag somewhere because that should have not have been a CMP tie event. But either way, going to be able to still continue with my good timing here. And I have to shield this up. I feel like you could win the zeros with Mantine, but I would rather preserve it just because I'm not sure what the opponent has in the back, and I don't want to find out with a Mantine with no HP. Just in case they have like Metacham or something, it would just not be good. So I'm conserving my Mantine here. Opponent shields up the first Aerial Ace, and they're probably going to have to shield up the second one unless they want to lose their Azumarill. With 1 HP, they are able to keep that Azumarill, and I'm farming up energy, and I don't really know what to bring in here. I come in with Diggersby, hoping that it's not a Grass Knot that's about to hit me in the base, but it is, and it's painful. And I mean, it's hard to say. I could have come in quicker. I should have come in quicker with the Sandslash and just gone for the bunch of Night Slashes. I feel like that may have been a better solution here, but it's, you know, in the moment, you don't really know what exactly the best decision is sometimes, and I definitely did not. I don't even get an attack debuff, which is really unfortunate. Going for the Scorching Stance, my opponent counting very well. CMP ties me, and unfortunately Diggersby loses CMP tie to a lot of things. So what I do here is I'm going to come in with my Sandslash, going to try to CMP them right back, go over for the Night Slash when I can here, going to block this Grass Knot with my shield, and then I should be able to outpace the opponent to the next move, but I'm looking to CMP tie them again because I'm counting their moves, making sure that I'm going to throw at the same time as they do, and overfarm just a bit here, and just as I go to throw the move, my opponent makes a really nice catch on their Azumarill, and this is a dangerous situation because this Cresselia could easily throw a move, but I catch right back. I still don't know what's in the back though. So Grass Knot is going to almost KO my poor Mantine. I'm going to try and go for 2 Aerial Aces, and I'm going to hope that this is going to be enough to KO. And I'm just going to launch the Aerial Ace at whatever comes in, because that way I can do some damage. It's a Whiscash, and they are going to be able to farm me down, and I don't think that this is going to do much damage because it's just Aerial Ace against a very bulky Whiscash. And my choice here is I probably should have gone for 2 Night Slashes, but I'm not sure how much the Scorching Sands does. They're going to get to a Blizzard before I get to a move. I don't think, the only way that I win this game, I think, is if I go for back-to-back Night Slashes and the first one boosts. So that's a risky game. My opponent gets moved to Blizzard, and that's a good game. Well played to them. Getting into the last game here, we've got a Hawlucha on the lead, and that is a scary lead, but honestly, if it's running Poison Jab, it's not so bad. My opponent's staying in here, and I'm going to stay in with them. You know, if they're running Aerial Ace and Flying Press, I don't have to worry about this matchup one bit. The Poison Jabs do quite a bit of damage, though, so I'm going to go straight for the Aerial Ace, hoping to catch them off guard so they think maybe I'm going to try and farm up some more. And we're going to go, and they're going to get the shield here. We're going to go for another Aerial Ace, and the opponent does not swap out to catch, so I'm going to go ahead and get 2 shields or take out the Hawlucha here. And the opponent's Hawlucha goes down, and so do they as they concede. I guess they just didn't want to see what was, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the whole team was weak to Mantine. I don't know. But anyway, good game, going 7-3 in my first 2 sets here with this team. Was a lot of fun to run the team. Probably a spicier team for sure. I'm not 100% sure how well this team would do, like when we get to the, you know, hard meta lines and stuff, but absolutely a fun team if you want to try it out in the lower ranks, have some fun, try out the new moves. See, the Scorching Sands is an amazing animation, and Mantine is absolutely a meta mainstay now. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. We're going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.